Hi there guys. Today I'm just going to speak a little bit about how I keep all of my data safe and backed up, which is very important when you're working with other people's files. You know, it's one thing to decide how to look after your own files, but if people are sending me projects to mix or bringing files around on drives, you know, I don't want to be the guy who loses those files. So to show you sort of the workflow, we're going to start with this current projects drive. So any work that I'm given is brought to this current projects drive. I have it arranged by year. So we're going to go into this 2017 folder and we're going to make a new test project and hopefully show how this propagates through the system. So I'm going to take this random video file, pop that in there, and our test project is now just going to be that video file. Normally it's a bit busier, we've got all the Pro Tools files in here, it's on the drive, and as I work on it, as the files inside the folder potentially get edited or resaved, more files come through. Say I sort of, you know, make another copy, they all go through. Okay, so the first step is to use Carbon Copy Cloner to back up these folders to my NAS. I have a network attached storage device in the other room, which is basically just a RAID array of 4 drives of 3 terabytes, 36912, 12 terabytes, but with RAID backup, that becomes a little lower. Okay, so let's take a short look at this piece of software called Carbon Copy Cloner, which backs up my files from this current project's SSD and sends it across to my production backup server, which contains everything I've ever worked on essentially. You can see here we pick the source, and the source is the 2016 folder, and the destination is on my NAS drive. I've got a share called PPT, which is just my production performance tuition stuff, production backup, and then 2016. It's important to check the settings of these files because they're quite important to make sure the backup works the way I would like it to work. So we always take all files and we have it set to not delete anything. And this is so when I'm finished with the project, I can delete it from the SSD drive but not lose the backup, because this is just current projects. Sometimes if I'm working on big projects, the drive will get full and I need to make sure I've got enough room to keep working. That's why I have that set in there. There's a few other settings here. I don't think I've changed them particularly. It's all good. Here's the same thing for the 2017 folder. Current projects 2017 gets sent to my PPT server, production backup 2017. Again, don't delete anything, because then when I'm finished with a project, I can delete it from the current projects drive and it stays on the PPT drive. Finally, I have a schedule, and the schedule is actually to be run every day. It doesn't matter what time, I just tend to do it at a time I know my computer will be on. We made a test project in 2017, so let's run 2017 now and see what happens. So it will compare the old files. It doesn't recopy things that it knows are already there. So it's really, really fast, and you'll find when it gets to these new video files, it will actually do something. There we go. So now I have a current backup of my 2017 work on my NAS server, and that'll be there for good, and any changes that I make will go across. And there is potentially some downsides to this system in the fact that if I remove some audio files that I decide I don't need and they've already been backed up that day to the NAS server, they will stay there. But generally, I don't tend to worry about that unless I know I've got a huge session with loads and loads of files that I could do with the space. Then potentially I will go into the NAS server and delete the files that I don't need. But for me, that works quite well. So we're all good. We've got the files on the current project drive, we've got them backed up to the NAS server, and then the final step is another program called Arq Backup. So if we open Arq and have a look. So essentially this is a program that will back up data to some cloud storage, and I've got mine linked to Amazon Cloud Drive, destinations, you can add a new one. Yeah, look at all these, Dropbox, Google Drive, all your sort of standard stuff. And I've gone with Amazon Cloud Drive, probably because of the price. If we look at this, we can see we're using Amazon Cloud Drive and it's sending hourly. Some of the settings in here, maximum transfer rate. Might want to back that off a little bit. You'll find if your network connection is fully saturated with upload, your download will suffer. But I haven't run into any problems, especially after the first big backup. The first time you set up the system and run it, it will probably take a long time. Wi-Fi email set, so you can get emails sent if you want extra confirmation. I'm alright for that for now. Have it set to load at login. Rent computers during sleep, sort of normal settings here really. So let's close that. And let's see if we can run the backup now and see if it catches those new files that we spoke about. Scanning, and now it's starting to upload those video files. Where can I see this? Here we go. So you can see straight away it's found those 3 video files to upload. It's scanning all the files to check for changes, and then it will upload the new items. Scanned 70 gigabytes already, it's not too bad. And just to confirm that, let's check where those files are. Okay, so here we are in the Amazon Drive account. All I have in here is my Arq Backup data, which you don't access directly. There's a README text here to tell you to not mess with these files. And if we want to restore anything, we can do it here. In Arq, we can restore these files. So I will leave links to all this software in the description of the video, and you can try it out for yourself. This is just what works for me, but essentially I want to make sure that I've got a second physical backup on a different drive and a cloud backup of sort of, especially the most recent work. You can see my cloud backup I'm only doing the current year. I only started this Arq system this year. Last year I was using CrashPlan, and I think there's some other users out there who were using CrashPlan as it had unlimited data, but they've just axed that basically and are ending the sort of personal accounts. So this is why I looked into Arq 5 and found it was the best software for me. So just to triple check that everything's working as it should, let's check current projects 2017, test project, there's our 3 files. Let's go to the NAS server, production backup 2017, test project, there's our 3 files. And finally, if we look at Arq, we can go in there as well and see that the changes have gone through. Test project added, and in there's the 3 files. This backup system is really good as well because you can go back to any stage in time and restore files. And this is important because let's say a WAV file gets corrupted. I've had this problem in the past where you're mixing or recording and you open the file the next day and for some reason the file is corrupted. If you don't catch that, the errored file will sort of propagate through the whole system and you've essentially lost the good copy. The good thing about this is that if that happens, you can go back in time and hopefully find sort of a non-corrupted backup copy, and that's why it's really important for me to have this Arq 5 running every hour just to fix problems like that. Okay, well I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you next time.